And there's proof. I hope they've all done their slip, slop, slap. A lovely evening to be watching. An atmospheric evening on which to be performing. So here we go. First of 5 heats in the women's 4 hurdles. There is Sydney McLaughlin. One of the stars of the US team. That's why many of them are here. World record holder, Olympic champion. This is the only title missing from her collection. Sarah Gallego is a 5-time national champion for Spain. She's young and she's very talented. What an athlete to chase outside her. Yasmin Giga is a 2-time European under-23 bronze medalist. She's also only 22. Pauline Coquet, national record in the semis in Tokyo. That takes some doing, doesn't it? She's in 5. Could be pretty close between her and Grace Claxton, born in San Juan. What a beautiful city that is, representing Puerto Rico. She's a former Pan American finalist. De Silva is a South American bronze medalist for Brazil in 3. And Rizakova goes in lane 2, the highly consistent Ukrainian. 7th in Doha, 5th last year in Tokyo. 3rd in Birmingham and in Rome, and 2nd in Oslo, so she'll hope to make sure she gets one of the 4. Rizarkova's on the inside, but in lane 2, we're not using lane 1. De Silva, Brazil in 3, Claxton, Puerto Rico 4, Coquet, Belgium in 5, Giga, Switzerland 6, Gallego, Spain in 7, and McLaughlin, the world record holder and Olympic champion, on the outside in 8. What an athlete for the rest to chase. Top 4 coming back for the semis.
Set.
The crowd give a roar of expectation. It's a steady start from McLaughlin on the outside in her rhythm. Coquet is going well in the middle and coming through on the inside. Rizaka, although she looks like she's a long way behind at the moment, but she's not, because the stagger is yet to unfold. Good running by McLaughlin, because remember, she can't see anything. She doesn't need to expend too much energy here, so it's Coquet, McLaughlin, Rizakova, Gallego trying to get in the mix. Remember, the first 4 are coming back. Rizakova looks a tiny bit laboured there now on the far side. Now McLaughlin begins to pull away. This is merely a jog. McLaughlin from Rizakova, Gallego and Coquet. 53.97. You know, I'm not sure that actually tells us anything we didn't already know. She's more than capable of making those times look easy. She did, and she's keeping her powder dry. 1 race to go in her mind. 1 race down, 2 to go.
2 to go, that's right. You know, and she's just making sure that, you know, she's feeling what she is. She's, you know, being in lane 8, you know you're out there, you don't feel anyone. So she's going to go out there, not give anybody any hope, so they're not going to think about coming up on her. But their goal is that, hey, she's in front. She's prey. I'm coming to get her. I'm the predator. And you've got to make sure that you stay out ahead of the game. She was very relaxed going over those hurdles. Just, you know, like a warm-up in practice. Staying relaxed, but attacking the hurdles as she's coming up to them. And you see the other ladies were doing a good job of making sure that they get in there so that they can get into the next round.
What did you make of that down there on the infield, Dan O'Brien?
Well, this is classic Sydney McLaughlin. She goes out hard and then she just cruises. But you see, she had so much left at the end. And what's interesting, and I said Sid has a big presence on social media, but I think she's probably staying off of social media this week because, not to her fault, but she's been a little bit in the midst of some controversy when the Allyson Felix 4x400 meter team only brought home the bronze medal. A number of people said, well, why didn't we run our best athletes, give Allyson a better chance to win that gold medal in that co-ed 4x4? And Sydney McLaughlin's name was one of the first ones that came up. And, you know, she didn't make those decisions. She couldn't, you know, she could have asked to be on that relay, but I don't think they would have put it on there. But they said, you know, those athletes, Sid and Athene Mo and some of the other 400 meter runners, they have their own races to to come up, but so does Femke Bol. But she jumped on that relay. But so I think Sid unknowingly just a bit of controversy, but she's so good and she's so poised. But remember, guys, this is the only championship that she does not have, and that's the world title.
She's one step closer now. Sydney McLaughlin leads the quartet through to the semis. Rizarkova's there, so too Kalega and Kokyu. Giga will have to wait and see if 55.9 is good enough for a non-automatic qualification. Women getting ready for the second heat now. Portia Bing, former heptathlete. Daniel Stahl, the man mountain, the Olympic champion. He is the best thrower in the world this year on distance, but many times this season, 5 out of 6 head-to-heads, he's lost to Christian Shea. He leads their overall career head-to-heads, but this season he's only beaten the Slovenian once. They have 8 out of the 10 best discus throws in the world this year. It could be a fascinating duel between two discus throwing giants. Can you imagine how much food that guy must eat?
I would love to go spend the day with him and see.
And that is why track and field is such a great sport. Whatever your body shape, whatever your prowess,
right,
we can find an event for you. Get your kids down to a local club. If they're built slightly more muscly and more powerfully, there are a whole myriad of field events they can choose from. And the big guys will put on a fantastic show in the discus final just a little bit from now. Well, you know it's hot when you get a heat haze just on a crowd shot. Okay then. Sydney McLaughlin, 53.95 it was rounded down to in the end. Let's see what we get from her compatriot Shamir Little on the outside, and Genevieve Russell, Commonwealth champion, going in 5. There is Little. It took me a while to recognise her. I'm so used to thinking back to when she was much younger and she ran with a flower in her hair.
Yes.
Silver medalist in Beijing. 4th in the trials for Doha and Tokyo, but she made it here. Remember, she's the 5th fastest in history. Portia Bing, the former excellent heptathlete, 5-time national champion for New Zealand in 7. Oliveri, European under-23 silver medalist for Italy in 6. Genevieve Russell, under the tutelage of the brilliant sprint hurdler Bridget Foster-Hilton, the Commonwealth champion, just off the podium in Tokyo. Can she upgrade to a medal? Well, first she's got to get in the semis. Asian Games silver medalist Aminat Jamal of Bahrain goes in 4. Vivi Lekkonen, European youth champion a few years ago, big PB in Stockholm, so she's in 4. And the ever-consistent Victoria Kachuk, 2nd in the Birmingham Diamond League, who made the Olympic final last year. And in this race we are using lane 1, Unique Hay Smith of the Turks and Caicos, national record holder over the 2 and the 400 metres. So Hay Smith of the Turks and Caicos in 1, Kachuk in 2 for Ukraine, Laikkonen, Finland in 3, Jamal Bahrain in 4, Russell, Jamaica 5, Oliveri, Italy 6, Bingham, New Zealand in 7, and Little, USA in 8. Watch for lanes 2, 3, 5 and 8. Little is one of the fastest in history. She'll get out quickly. But watch for the familiar gold of Jamaica, Genevieve Russell in lane 5.
Set.
So let's see who makes the first move. And rather inevitably, it is Shamir Little who's gone out hard. She's opened up a bit of a gap on Portia Bing. Laikkonen has gone out hard, 3rd from the inside in that distinctive pale blue. 3rd from the right there as you look at it for Finland. Cruise control here for Shamir Little. Russell now beginning to try and close the gap on the New Zealander, comes sweeping past her. Remember, she was 2 lanes outside her. Oliveri trying to come back to the New Zealander. But it's Shamir Little by quite a margin. Now the Commonwealth champion, Geneve Russell, coming through, and Leikkonen is still running well, third from the inside. Portia Bing is rallying in the battle for the fourth spot. That might be the tightest one. Russell takes it from Little, Leikkonen, and how about that from Victoria Katchuk just at the end, showing a little bit of composure to come through and deny Bing by about half a second. 54.52. Held back well there, Russell. And when she went to the front, it was a definitive piece of acceleration. She's world class, the Jamaican, and she'd love to get on the podium and not let the Americans have it all their own way. Good run by the Commonwealth champion.
That was a great run. Shamira Little got out, working that first 200 meters, and then she started to settle. And I think these are things that she's working on, putting together her race for the semifinal and for the final race. But Russell got out, and she kept running and building up, and I think she was working more on that second half of her race. So it's like I said, you're putting together that equation, and you want it to equal what it's supposed to when the math test is up.
Katchuk left it late, but did take the fourth spot with 55.27. It was quite interesting, that one, Gail, because there was a little bit of toing and froing. As far as the Ukrainian's concerned, second from the right-hand side, she had a lot to do at this point, but obviously Little not that bothered about chasing down Genevieve Russell, so the Jamaican will get a better choice of lanes come the semis.
Right. I think when you train, you train for that to be in every lane. You don't know what lane you're going to get because you don't know really what's going to happen. So move around in practice to make sure that no matter what lane I get, I understand I'm running my race and I'm going to get it done. If somebody moves ahead of me, I'm going to get them.
Just a quick clarification on the times for the non-automatic qualifiers. Portia Bing in with a shout at the moment with 55.72. She'll have to pay close attention to the remaining 3 heats of the 4 hurdles. Men's final will be the climax of our programme in around about, 2 hours 15 minutes if we're marking your card. Quite a few messages coming in to us on social media because this is a global service, so yeah, we've got Zambians watching in the middle of the night. They're doing a great job there, so if you are watching in Zambia, good evening. The women getting ready to come out for Heat 3. Dalila Mohammed, the defending champion, she goes in lane 3 of Heat 4. Dan O'Brien again. Is there a feeling that Mohammed, who's been around a long time, is ever so slightly past her best, or do you think she could still spring a surprise on her young compatriot and the rest of the field?
Well, guys, I think, when Dalila Mohammed in 2019, she showed signs of that world title. She showed signs of breaking that world record, but we just haven't seen that same intensity. We haven't seen her run. We haven't seen her run quite those times this season. So, and I think Sydney McLaughlin is on a mission. Frankly, I think that Dalila caught her at the right time in her career, ran the right race and just the race strategy, and it really threw Sid off. And I think Sid's coming back here a few years later and saying she's never going to let that happen again.
Well, let's see. What I like about Dalila, Gail, is that she hasn't always had it easy. I think she ran really well in the World Youth back in about 07, and it took her a long time for that first senior global breakthrough with a medal in Beijing in 2015. She's been on a bit of a journey.
She has. She and her coach, Boogie Johnson, have figured it out.
So Mohammed goes in Heat 4. Let's focus now on Heat 3, which contains one of this season's outstanding performers. Femke Bol. We knew she was going to have a good outdoor season when she came second in the world indoors over the 4 flat. And what a relay leg for silver on the first Friday of the Champs. If it had been 402 metres, it would have been gold for the Dutch. Zani van der Waalt, African champion this year, former world junior champion. Watch for her in 7. Jana Woodruff of Panama, South American champion in 2017, a very popular performer. She's low 54s, and she'll expect to make smooth passage through to the semis. Thilan Quach, Asian Games winner in 2018. I was there for that. The conditions were torrid. This will be slightly more amenable for her. Rebecca Sartori, second in the national champs for Italy. Daniela Ledecky, 4 times a national champion. Remember, we've got loads of Slovakians watching, so good evening to you in Bratislava and elsewhere. And Great Britain's Jessie Knight didn't finish her heat at the Olympics last year. Signs that she's bouncing back nicely with 3rd in the Oslo Diamond League. Let's hope she has a better experience here than she did in Japan. Knight goes in 2. Ledecky, Slovakia 3. Sartori, Italy 4. Quach, Vietnam in 5. Woodruff, Panama 6. Van der Vault, South Africa 7. And Femke Bol on the outside, the Olympic bronze medalist and the 3rd fastest woman in history. She's been brilliant this season. Let's see what she's got here in her heat.
Set.
Quite a coincidence that we've had Bol and Little and McLaughlin all on the outside in lane 8. Sartori has gone out quite hard. She's closing down Quach just ahead of her, and now Bol beginning to get into full flow in the sunshine down the back straight on the extreme left of picture. Woodruff's having a good battle with Van der Vault and has come past her, the Panamanian. Really good experienced athlete in lane 6. But watch for the time as Bol crosses the line. McLaughlin was 53.95 in the first. Russell was 54.52. She's a long, long way clear. Woodruff's in 2nd. Van der Vault is in 3rd. Could get a little bit tight for the 4th spot between Sartori and Jessie Knight. Bol already jogging, already looking around. Minimal energy expended. Van der Vault takes Woodruff on the line, and Jessie Knight did beat the Italian for 4th. Again, we don't really learn much from that, because she made a really good time look very easy, as we would have expected, judging on the performances we've already seen this season. McLaughlin goes 53.90, and Bol responds with a 53.95. And Bol responds with a 53.90.
And what it is just them getting themselves together to move it to the next round. Now in the semifinals, we're going to see a little bit more. Like you said, Femke started shutting it down. As soon as she got clearly over the 10th hurdle, she looked back, saw where she was, and started shutting down. You know, they're working on certain aspects of the race, but they still have to run to get there. Like you said, we're not going to know anything until the next round.
Oh, what a shame. So Ledecky unable to finish. Jessie Knight took the 4th spot. Good battle between her and the Italian, but she's talking about Femke Bol on that outside. I think she has a look round about now-ish, and she's just jogging. There we go, a little glance.
You talked about her 400 meters. She can run a 50 point in the open 400. So adding the hurdles to that, you know, it's that type of caliber of athlete that's willing to get in the 400 to work on their speed, so that when that's giving them some speed and endurance when they hop in the hurdles.
She's really come on in the last sort of season and a half, hasn't she? You know, she's one of the very best in this event that our sport has ever seen. That's why she's 3rd on the all-time list. I mean, that 52.03 in Tokyo was a phenomenal performance under enormous pressure.
And they're young. You know, I love that these athletes are young, they're hungry, and they'll just go for it. And that's what we want. These are the new up-and-coming champions of our sport.
On paper, there's about half a second if they both run at their very best at the moment. But that means, I know that sounds like a lot, but it means McLaughlin knows she can't afford to slip up because Bol is right there. And if they both stay injury-free, it's a rivalry that could endure for the next 6 or 7 years. And as we've said a number of times here in Eugene, there's a global championship almost every year between now and LA. So this could be one of the defining rivalries of our sport for the middle part of this decade.
We'll see great competition, like you said, for the next 6 to 7 years.
Jaidi Mo, twice a national champion for China. She goes in lane 4. Xian Salman will be in this one. Delena Mohammed, the defending champion. Lena Nielsen will be on the outside. McLaughlin already back on the warm-up track, although for her it's a warm-down. How long will she do drills for now?
Just, 5-10 minutes to make sure she gets a warm down, and that's so important. Sometimes people forget that you've got to cool your body back down and then go. Young talent, Britton Wilson. I watched her this year at NCAA's. That she ran the 400, she ran the 4x4 and the 400-meter hurdles and set records. So great up-and-coming talent, and I look to see what she's going to do here.
And I was making a note of her lifetime best at the 4 flat, 50.05. She's here in the 4 hurdles. She's the 5th fastest woman in the world this year at the 4 flat.
Yes.
So these are the women who'll be going in the 5th of our heats. We're on to number 4, and it contains the defending champion and Olympic silver medalist, Dalilah Muhammad. Good attendance this evening. This big bank of spectators will be treated to a wonderful night of track and field, which will round off with the men's 15 final, followed by the men's 4 hurdles final. A brilliant 2.5 hours still to come. Lena Nielsen on the outside for Great Britain. 51.5 flat PB this year. She ran well for a 54 point for 4th in row. Supplements her training with lots of yoga. She's in 8th. She was a kit carrier for the London Olympics in 2012. Agata Zupin of Slovenia, European Junior silver medalist. Might need a PB to advance. Kristina Halonen, national champion from Finland. And inside her, Melissa Gonzalez of Colombia. South American champion twice, 2019 and last year. Looks pensive. Sarah Carley, remember I mentioned she recovered from that freak training accident which severed an artery in her neck last year before Tokyo. The Australians in 4, and now to the 2nd fastest woman in history. Olympic champion in Rio. World champion in Doha, but 2nd last year behind McLaughlin. Xian Salmon getting the Jamaicans in the crowd fired up. World Junior silver medalist in 2018, and Zhaini Mo, twice a national champion for China. In this heat, once again, we are using lane 1. So,
on your marks.
Mo of China in 1, Salmon Jamaica in 2, Muhammad, the defending champion in 3, Carley Australia 4, Gonzalez Colombia 5, Halonen Finland in 6, Zupin Slovenia 7, Nielsen Great Britain on the outside in lane 8. Dalilah Muhammad, the defending champion, the 2nd fastest woman in history. She will be in lane 3. 4 of these women guaranteed to return for the semis.
Set.
Aggressive looking start this from Dalilah Muhammad. She's got Carley to aim for outside her, and she's already heating up that stagger. Good running as well by Gonzalez outside her, but it's Muhammad leading. Now Salmon beginning to move away from Mo on her inside. This is steady from Dalilah Muhammad, 3rd from the right-hand side. Gonzalez going well for Colombia. The defending champion will lead when they come into the straight. Muhammad from Salmon. These two with a little bit of a gap. It could get a bit tight and tense in the battle for the 3rd and 4th automatic spots. Jamaicans in the crowd getting pretty excited as Salmon closes down. It's Dalilah Muhammad across the line. Then Salmon. Great run by Carley, the Australian, to make it through, along with Gonzalez, the Colombian. 54.46, the unofficial time. Yeah, little wave. Not as quick as McLaughlin. And not as quick as Boll. She hasn't had a perfect season, but that is a bit more like it from the defending champion Dalilah Muhammad.
Great race by Salmon. I talked to her coach, Tanja Buford-Bailey, before, and lane 2 from Jamaica is a young athlete, but she expects her athletes to compete. That's what she trains them for. So I wouldn't be surprised if she got it her season best.
will mop up the specific times there. But now we introduce the athletes for the women's high jump final. And if the event this evening is half as good as it was last night, we're in for a cracker. Carmen Bruce, national champion indoors and out this year, the Estonian. Leah Apostolovsky, 7 times a national champion indoors and out, 22 years of age. What a big night for her. Daniela Stanciu, 17 times a national champion. She's 34 years of age and still going strong. 193 this season.
Pan American Games bronze medalist for Jamaica, Kimberly Williamson.
Kimberly Williamson, Pan American bronze. She's a 14-19 triple jumper.
The twice national champion of Uzbekistan.
Safina Sadoluyeva, 6th last year in Tokyo and 6th in the world indoor champs. And the second of our Jamaicans, the NCAA champion from the University of Texas, Lamara Distin. Brilliant PB in April, 197, national record as well. Paolo Tigara, 6th in the world indoors, the Italian. She raised a few eyebrows with her 198 at the national champs. Nastasia Dubovitskaya, world indoor bronze, 24 years of age. She's the Asian record holder.
Representing Australia, Eleanor Patterson.
2 Australians in this one. Eleanor Patterson had a PB for world indoor silver, former world youth champion. 2 Ukrainians as well. Irina Gerashchenko, 4th last year in Tokyo, a former world youth silver medalist.
The Olympic silver medalist representing
Formerly known as Nicola McDermott, Nicola Oslagas, a silver medalist in Tokyo with an Oceanian record of 2:02. And here's the favourite, Yaroslava Mahujic, world indoor champion, silver in Doha, bronze in Tokyo. She is the favourite. Can she make it gold here in Eugene? She's had a phenomenal season. We'll pay close attention to the high jump final as it unfolds over the coming hour or so. Mahujic, the favourite for Ukraine. So Dalila Mohammed, 54.45 in the 4th heat. Let's just take a quick check on the non-automatic qualification spots. At the moment it's Sartori of Italy, Bing of New Zealand, with Giga of Switzerland and Oliveri of Italy. Only 4, remember. So, Vera Barbosa, semi-finalist in London 10 years ago. She's been around a while. Amelie Ewell, 9 times a national champion. She's won a few titles on the flat as well with a 51.6 PB. Taylon Beeld, African Championship silver this year, studies at the University of Pretoria. Folorunzo of Italy, 3 times she's gone inside 55 seconds this year for the 4 hurdles. 25-year-olds in good form. She's in 5. And now Britton Wilson, the NCAA champion. 3rd fastest in the world this year. 5th fastest on the flat with 50.05. Karolina Krafzik, European team silver last year, the German. She's a primary school teacher. What an inspirational figure she must be for her pupils. And on the inside, Rochelle Clayton, bronze medalist in Doha. She had a really good year in 19 because she got a Pan American bronze as well and was 2nd in Stockholm recently, so she's rounding into some useful form.
On your marks.
Clayton, Jamaica in 2. Krafzik, Germany in 3. Wilson there in your picture, NCAA champion, USA 4. Follow Runzo, Italy, who's had a really good season in 5. Beeld, South Africa 6. Ewell, Norway 7. Barbosa of Portugal on the outside. Should be a good competitive heat, this one. The last of 5, top 4 coming back for the semis. Sense the excitement beginning to build on this 5th evening of action at Hayward Field. Good running by Ewell, 2nd from the left. She's moved past Barbosa. And Beeld of South Africa trying to go with her. No move yet from Wilson on the United States, and Rochelle Clayton has made up the stagger on the American. She's leading at the moment, out of camera shot on the inside. Yule really is running well, the Norwegian. Now the Jamaican coming through, as Wilson moves into second. Watch for Folorunso coming through late. She's got plenty of running left in her legs, the Italian in the centre of your picture. Wilson from Folorunso. Yule's legs were wobbling a little bit at the line, and Rochelle Clayton took the fourth spot, unofficially 54.55. That was an interesting race. She played it cautiously, the American, but then came through well to make absolutely certain of a good lane draw come the semis.
She did. Yule took it out, and that's how Wilson has been running throughout the year. She'll wait to that second half. She stays in contention, waits to the second half, and then moves on. But good job. Yule made a brilliant move in the beginning.
I like watching Folorunso as well. She's been very, very consistent this year. Clayton will be there if you're a fan of Jamaican track and field. Yule had a PB there, by the way, with 54.7. No wonder her legs were wobbling as she crossed the finish line. Clayton took the fourth spot with 54.99. So all four of the automatic qualifiers coming home inside 55 seconds. That was a decent standard.
That was. And, you know, now they'll go and recover, and they come back tomorrow. So all of our expected players are through to the next round to be contested tomorrow.
Watch Yule nearest the camera as she begins to come under a little bit of pressure. And as I said, it's a PB for her. So no wonder she was feeling it towards the very end. Watch the legs as she comes in. Oh, yeah, a little bit of a wobble, but she's safely through. And we will see her along with Wilson, Folorunso and Clayton from that heat in the semi-finals. Shericka Jackson, watching that, she goes in lane 5 of the first of our semi-finals and the two, and the qualification and the quality of the lineup in these women's 200 semis is ridiculous. Jackson's got Kambunji, Prandini and Saini, but